Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. And welcome to Sacred Space Coloring Corner. We are going to Tuscany today. I'm so excited. This is going to be so much fun. Welcome to Sacred Space Coloring Corner. I'm so glad that you're here. This is a place where we get to color, we get to create, we get to be in control of our own world and how we want it to appear. And it's also a time to just relax, to kind of get into our bodies, just let our minds kind of release whatever troubles, whatever worries, whatever concerns that we may have, and just take this moment to just be in that creative process. Coloring is so powerful. I have always loved coloring, but I got busy in life and got married and had kids and all that kind of stuff. And even with the children coloring, as a parent, we go, 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 go. And it wasn't until my kids were grown up and they even started having children of their own that I really got back to coloring. And I work as a therapist. I'm a metaphysical practitioner. I am a certified clinical hypnotherapist. I'm a holistic health practitioner. I'm also an intuitive reader. And I use art in my therapies with people. I do have a website that is Sacred Space Art Therapy, that I use art as therapy. And I do a lot of different things where I help people kind of get out of the mind and into the body, into their emotions through art. And in studying all that, I decided I was going to start creating coloring books that have inspirational sayings in them that are created with intentional thought. I put my energy, I put my love, I put my intentions into all of the coloring books that I have. And then I decided I wanted to start coloring with you guys. And so I started a Patreon site because there's not very many places where you can have your wares for sale, your merchandise for sale. So I have all my coloring books and stuff for sale, but where also you can talk to your community and where you can provide, like I provide free coloring pages every week, and we get together on Patreon. This is also streamed to YouTube, my Sacred Space Coloring Corner YouTube channel, to where we can get together and play and do it together, right? So it's all in one place. So the Patreon site, Sacred Space Coloring Corner, there is a free membership. You don't have to pay for anything. I have so many people saying, "Oh, but it costs money." It doesn't. There is a one paid one that if you want to support my work and support what I'm doing, if you're coming every week, super cool. It's $10 a month, but you don't have to. You get a free page. You get to come and play with me, and we color together. And I give tips about coloring, but I also give tips about mindfulness and conscious living and being in your body and being healthy and being whole. So my whole thing is around being healthy, right? It's around being mindful, being mentally, emotionally, even spiritually balanced and healthy. That's what my art and coloring is about. And so I know there's a million YouTube channels out there that teach, all about art techniques and color, which I love color. Um, and teach all that kind of stuff, but this is unique because we're here about consciousness and mind and emotions and getting in touch with ourselves, getting in touch with our feelings, learning to relax, learning to let go. Sometimes we get so wrapped up in our concerns and our thoughts and our crazy monkey minds that we kind of lose touch with the ability to think clearly. And coloring is a great tool for that. I have Sacred Space Coloring Corner website. I have the Patreon site, Sacred Space Coloring Corner. I have a YouTube channel, Sacred Space Coloring Corner. You guys are probably watching this on there. And I also have a Facebook group so that we can get together. And it's all free. It's kind of like my service to humanity. I have a wonderful practice where I work with clients and I do intuitive readings. I do life coaching, consciousness coaching, hypnotherapy, past life readings. I do art therapy, I have stress and trauma release workshops and retreats. I do other classes. I have a meditation class every night. So I'm doing that, but this is what I do for you guys so that you have a place to come to relax and to like just chill, just chill. So today we're going to Tuscany because you deserve the finer things in life. So let's get started. I decided today I wanted to use colored pencils. So I always recommend these guys. I love the Castle Arts. I love these pencil. Prisma color is also really good. A little bit more pricey. I love the Castle Arts because they're really good pencils, really rich colors. Um, and they do not sponsor me, so I am saying this of my own volition. um, and then what's really cool is they give you a blank one of these, the little color palettes, and then you can color them in. So when you get your set, you always want to pull this little pup out and you want to go through and take each of the colors and color them in and do darker and then do the lighter. And not only does it get you familiar with your pencils, with the feel, with how the color comes out, with how the color can be gradient, but then you have this wonderful palette to where when you start working on a coloring project or anything, drawing, coloring, whatever, you kind of have a palette. And what I'm doing today is I'm trying to decide what colors I want to pull into this because I know the Tuscany landscape tends to be lots of greens and beiges and peach. So many of the buildings, the old buildings of the old farmhouses and stuff are rock and that stucco and that wonderful yummy with red tile roofs. And here in this picture, we've got a vineyard here. It's going to be all lush and green. This is kind of like a field here. So this is definitely, a growing farm kind of a situation. We've got fields over here, which oftentimes is kind of the golden colors, right? And then we have the beautiful mountains back here. We got grape leaves here. We've got grapes here. I'm thinking these are grapes, and here's what I was thinking when I was doing this, putting this together. These remind me of apricots. I don't know why, but I think I'm going to color them as apricots. And then we have a beautiful bottle of red wine that we're going to sip as we're coloring. And so I'm really excited to do this one. So I kind of brought my palette out to take a look at kind of what colors I want to be using, kind of this wheat color, some of these kind of reddish orange colors for the roofs, some of these paler colors for the farmhouses and stuff, and then getting into some beautiful greens, for the vines and the vineyards. Um, Grapevines have a particularly deep, kind of luscious green to them. You don't often see them in the bright greens. They're a little bit more of these deeper. They're green, but I'm almost like thinking this passion green or Prussian green. It's probably a good color for them. And then we need to decide what kind of grapes do we have here? Do we have Sauvignon? Do we have Merlot? What kind of grapes are we gonna have in here too? We got this wooden table. So let's get started. Let's get started. If you've got your palette set up, make sure that you take a couple minutes and just look at that, right? Look at it, see what you want to do, where you want to start with it. So I'm going to pull my camera forward just a little bit. And I'm going to pop this up. I'm going to pop up the chat. If you are here with me, go ahead and drop yourself in here and say hello because I love to hear about you guys. I am going to take this Patreon thing down here at the bottom. I'm going to take that off so that we can hear a little bit better. I mean, hear. So you can see a little bit better, have a little bit more room to check out what we're doing. So I hope you have a nice cup of something delicious, maybe even a little red wine to sip on if it's not too early in the day. I am drinking some delicious tea. And so let's get started. And What keeps pulling my attention are the farmhouses out here. I don't know why I want to start with them, but I think I'm going to. And I'm just going to do kind of a pale, kind of terracotta-y beige color. Actually, I'm going to use terracotta light. And just to kind of get some color in the distance, terracotta light. Oh, wow. I picked that right out of there. And so I'm going to bring that back in here. Just going to bring a little bit of that color back in here. There's some buildings back in here. They're just very light back in here. Right, we got some little buildings here. And just getting some color started, right? Just kind of making that presence. And remember, we can go over it again with another color, add some color or some gradient in it. But I'm feeling like these buildings are really important. This is where the vintners, the people that grow all of the vines, all of the grapes, the ones that are the farmers that have all the knowledge and wisdom. And oftentimes, especially in places like Tuscany, the vintners, they live and breathe their craft. A lot of times they they grow it, they harvest it, they take it down into the sheds, which may be what this is, where they actually create the wine, and they have their big old vats that they store and age the wine in, and all that kind of good stuff. If you've not ever been to a winery and actually really learned about what all goes into making wine, it's really a fascinating journey, and I recommend it, especially if you kind of like this kind of stuff. And I'm doing this too partially because I have never been to Italy, and it's on my bucket list. It's on my places I need to go someday. Mm, I love that. Love it, love it. Look at that. Put some of the most important parts on the map first. So I'm going to set this to the side. And then what I am going to do is I'm going to start bringing some of the green in. We've got a lot of different greens. We got a lot going on here. So I want to get some of this green going. Oh, I got my pink and my yellow that we're always using. And I was looking at this and I was really feeling like I wanted this Prussian green. I'm not sure. Where are you, Prussian green? Such a beautiful green. Such a beautiful, beautiful green. Here we go. And it's very worn down. It's one of the ones I use a lot. And I don't always use my color palette here as much as I'm kind of using it today. And so what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to bring this green into these leaves that are up close for now. And I'm just getting the green in there. I'm not coloring them in really deep. I'm just getting the color in there because we're going to add some texture. We're going to add some other color in there to make it richer because these are leaves that are in the foreground, right? So leaves aren't, or anything, nothing is really just one color. And the cool thing about beginning to do art and do coloring is a lot of times you start seeing the multiple colors within things. It's a cool phenomena that I noticed with myself. And I remember when I was young, I used to see the different colors and things. And when I stopped coloring, when I stopped being in that kind of creative space, I kind of like lost that ability. And when I started painting and coloring again, I started noticing the multiple colors within things. So it was kind of a cool awareness. I'm gonna sharpen this puppy up because I use them a lot. I love this color. And don't ever be afraid to turn your pictures around, come at them. Also, when you're coloring, a lot of times, especially when you're using either crayons or pencils, even gel pens, you kind of want to color with the motion of what you're coloring. So in other words, it's like you've got leaves up here that grow in particular way. Leaves grow from the stem out. So in order to kind of get a more realistic-ish kind of feeling, you kind of want to color with what I call the grain. I don't know if that's proper artistic vocabulary, but you go with the energy of it. To me, I'm an energy worker. My life, my world is frequency and energy, and so you color with the energy of it. And growth is energy, right? Oop, that's a cloud right there. I think plants grow with energy. Life is energy, and so we're going to color. And as we get going, you'll notice you kind of start. Can I take a nice deep breath? And for those of you that are watching, whether you're watching live or later, I'd love to know what coloring tools you use. Like, are you using pencils? Are you using markers? Are you using gel pens? Notice a lot of people love to use the gel pens. Um, what are you using? What do you think of them? Because I'm always looking to expand my toolkit, as I call it. Get my coloring tools out. And I've got a lot of different things. A lot of different things that I use. I love to use markers. I don't use gel pens so much. Kind of feel like they don't cover as much ground. I don't know if that makes sense. I like to kind of use either crayons, which I haven't colored in crayons. I'm going to get something that we're going to color crayons together, guys. Crayons are really fun to work with, too. I like using pencils and markers. All right, we're getting these leaves in here. Just kind of coloring with the energy of it all. I invite you to notice that you're kind of beginning to relax. Now that we're just kind of getting into it, right? Just kind of getting into letting it flow. Coloring in any kind of artistic or creative thing oftentimes is intuitive too. I work very much with the intuitive nature. It's like, what do I just feel like it needs to be? What do I feel like this needs to be? I'm going to pull out a nice deep brown. There's some stems and baskets down here. Just kind of want to bring this color in. I don't know why I want this dark color. And remember too, as we're doing this doesn't have to be realistic. We're not doing this necessarily to be super uber realistic. We're doing this to create, to relax. Right? So don't worry too much about making everything look real. Just let it be what you want. It's your picture. It's your piece of art. It can be what you want it to be. It can be how you want it to be, right? That's the fun of being the masters of our own domain. All right, so we got that in there. I got just a little bit of this. Now you know what's something. Here's another cool thing. This just popped into my head. I always like to kind of follow like where my attention is going. And right now my attention is going to this blue bowl, and I want it to be a really beautiful bright blue. There's, in Italy, in Europe in general, there's a lot of this bright blue. I know you see a lot of this in Greece. You have a lot of the white buildings, and you have a lot of this bright blue. And I want to bring this bright blue in here right now. That's what color I really feel like this bowl wants to be. And I'm not coloring the inside of the bowl, because another color that you see a lot of is yellow. And I want the inside of this bowl to be yellow. And what that's going to do is that's going to just be a kind of a focal point. It's going to be a really bright focal point for all of this here. I'm actually going to do that back in there too. Isn't that fun? And I even think I'm going to color this little napkin right here. Just get some brightness, some bright color going here. We'll probably add some contour in here, put some other colors. But now we just have this beautiful, already just this beautiful, beautiful color going on here. Some of this color in the foreground. Yum, yum, yummies. And so let's since we use this Prussian green for here, I want to get a little bit brighter green for this down here. I'm going to get more. We've got the Prussian green, right? So we're looking at that. So we got this Prussian green here. I want something that's more, maybe brighter for down here. I wasn't going to use a bright green. We can use the juniper green. But we got the Prussian green. Those are really close. I want to go a little bit brighter. Castle green deep. The deep castle green. That was the one I was going to. And so what we can do is we can just start coloring in a little bit. Is this going to be really close? Yeah, I think this is good. This is going to be a little bit, you can see the difference. And we're going to add some contour and some other stuff to all this. We're going to add some other colors to this. Let's just get this going in here. Right? These grapes are all growing. We're also going to want to add some of our grape colors in here too, right? Because there's grapes on these vines. So don't color it in too dark just yet. Just get that green in there, put in the foliage. You're going to see a lot of this stuff kind of in the shadowy parts down there. Get your green down in there. Don't be afraid to get your green down in there. Because we're going to put some viney vines. We're also going to add those grapes. Going to add those grapes down in there. And also there are the lattices that the grapes grow on down in here too. So we got more work that's going to be happening up here. And then I also want to bring some of this green back here into some of this background stuff here. Just into some of the trees and stuff. Because we got a lot of landscape going on here. A lot of landscape going on back here. Let's get some color in here. We can add, you know how I love to add yellow to everything. So we're gonna wanna have a bunch of different kind of greens going on here, just to keep it interesting, right? So it doesn't get too boring. We've got these deep junipers back in here. That actually, I think I'm going to go ahead and color in, but I'm coloring them really deep. I'm pressing hard with the pencils. Yeah, I like that. See a lot of these junipers in this area too. And they're really good because they're kind of good wind breaks. They're cool trees. I always like junipers. Juniperas. So look at that. Our landscape's already taking a little shape. We also have a bunch of junipers back here. I'm just gonna kind of sounds kind of bad. I'm just gonna kind of scribble that in there. Let this color make itself known back in here because it's a good color for what we're doing here. Yeah, this is good. And then we're also going to want to do these roofs. And I think we're going to want to do, we see a lot of the red tile, which is kind of a terracotta. And I think I want to use cinnamon. I'm going to want to use cinnamon. Or maybe sepia. Or maybe both. Where's our cinnamon? It's over here in our oranges. It's over here in our oranges. Here we go. Cinnamon. I think I want to do the roof here. I've decided this is where all the wine making happens, right here. So these aren't quite red roofs, right? And we're going to have some roofs. Roofs this is over here in the distance. Got some roof going on here. This is a very interesting one to do because it's a lot of small pieces, but it's making up a beautiful big landscape. This is kind of cool. And another thing that's really neat too is, you use colors, but you want to bring things into awareness and balance. So I'm going to use the same cinnamon color down here. You're going to see things that are kind of like depicting the fencing or the lattices. I'm bringing the same cinnamon color down in here to kind of be the stalks. You can see there, it looks like you can see the little stems or the trunks in here. I'm bringing this in here. I'm not coloring everything in there, but I'm letting this color be here because we're going to want to bring some purples, and there's some soil down in here, kind of in between some of this. I'm coloring it in lightly. So I'm bringing this color in. Bringing this color in here, making it a little bit more prominent. And what I'm noticing now as I'm doing this, bringing the in, and like what I'm noticing, this is kind of cool, is that, check this out. So I'm seeing this all as the vines and stuff. And I was thinking this is like fallow fields. But if you look at it, it's like, no, it's like these all are continuations of this. And of course they are. Of course they are. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's go ahead and use our Castle Green Deep. Yep, that's when we were using. I had to think about that for a minute. I'm like, oh, let's bring that. Color it in really, really lightly. Right? Ooh, look at that. That kind of changes the way I was thinking about doing this. That's exciting. I like when that happens. I like when I'm heading in one direction and then I get to go in another. Something reveals itself. That's what's fun about coloring, right? Is it's like we have where I always kind of start with an idea. Ooh. Always kind of start with an idea of what I think and then let it kind of develop from there. But check that out. Check that out. That's really cool. That adds more greenery, more grapery to this whole thing. And then what I want to use is using this brown. I want to bring more of this brown in here too. The brown's going to add that contrast. So we're giving all of this permission to be, right, the dirt and the earth. The earth is so important, right? The earth in this picture is so important because this picture is about, the grapes and the riches that come from Mother Earth, right? The abundance of Mother Earth and how we grow this luxury and this beauty and this amazing yumminess from the earth. And she works with us. You know, that's one of the things too, is sometimes when we get disconnected from the earth, we get disconnected from kind of ourselves, is we forget that the universe is always working with us. But we got to be working with it too, you know? I remember somebody said to me one time, we were working on manifesting, and they're saying, but remember that the universe or God, you know, if you pray and you're praying to God, isn't Santa Claus, and they're not just going to drop it on your doorstep or drop it down the chimney, I think was how they put it. And I remember thinking, oh my gosh, I get that. So, you know what I'm doing right now is I'm putting a little bit of this brown in here so it's not just completely green, but where you can kind of see the soil, if you will, between the rows. So you're giving it earth. You're letting the earth show through. Wow, this is a lot of detail. I knew it was going to be detailed when I created this page, but woo, this is really fun. I'm loving it. Love, 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 love. And I'm going to not sure what's going on over here. I'm coloring that in and give it some love. I'm actually going to bring some of this brown in here too, just along the edge of the vineyard here. Very nice. And I'm going to bring some I'm just going to bring some coloring here into this, kind of accentuating the Mother Earth concept, right? Because one of the things, too, is all of this works with Mother Earth. And then back in here, you can see some more rows of vineyards going on. See, you start realizing it goes on and on. The lush, beautiful blessings, what's being created here. So fun. So fun. Look at that. Look what you guys are doing here. So delish. So delicious. And I'm a little bit avoiding this stuff here because I want to kind of get this, happening up here. You know, over here, I'm not sure what that is there. Some of this is field and some of this is. And I do want to bring in some kind of golden fallow field sort of a feeling to some of this up here. Right? Like some of this is sitting. Not all of it. I'm going to put this over here, just kind of as contrast a little bit. I'm going to bring this in. And I think we need to get some different greens in here too. I think that would keep it more interesting. But you know, a lot of these greens need to be like really lush, yummy, delicious greens. I almost want to bring kind of a bluish green. What is this one? Oh my goodness. Viridian. What color is Viridian? Ooh, it's kind of this bluish. It's this right here. I'm going to bring some of that in these, like there's like a tree right here. And they're all kind of the same hue. They're all kind of the same hue together, right? I want to bring some of this here. You know, one of the things that a lot of times are grown, and I don't know if they do this in Tuscany, so anybody who's watching it knows about Tuscany. If I make a mistake, let me know. But I think a lot of times they also grow olives and olive trees in the same sort of regions. Ooh, that's a nice contrast there. I like that. Let me know what colors you guys are using. What colors are you guys using? We got a lot of the blues, not the blues, the greens. What am I saying? The blues. And I'm putting this color, this Viridian. I'm giving it a little bit more oomph here. Look at that. That's nice. I'm going to bring this in over here too. And again, it's really, you know, a lot of times it really is about just the general variations, you know, of what's going on with everything. It's so pretty. Put some of this up here. Fill in some of this here. Look at that. You guys see that? And where we have this brown, I'm actually going to bring a little bit of this green in over the brown. So we have the brown, we're not covering up the brown. It's also depicting a little bit, there's life, right? That isn't dead there. There is life in that. And then there's some of this up in here too. I want to bring this. This is almost like a tree line a little bit. And then what we have back in here, it's kind of going up into mountains. And so I'm going to want to use a little bit different color. for the mountains. I think I'm going to pull in a little bit of grays. Look at this. Isn't this fun? And then, I'm going to do something fun. Let's get our blue out. And on our homes, kind of around the windows, some of these windows, I'm going to put a little bit of blue. Also along the lines of the roofs, I'm going to bring in some of this blue. Because a lot of times in Europe, they have the kind of the storm windows, or the what they call, the shutters, right? And a lot of times that blue is one of the colors that is used. And I just love it. I love it. So I'm just kind of bringing some of this color in here. Especially in this one that's in the front, right? And I'm not doing it very neat. I mean, I'm kind of doing it sloppy. That's okay. It's bringing that color in. It's bringing in a little bit more interesting. Wow, look at that. We have the whole landscape filled in pretty much. I want to color. I want to color in these. I want to color in our little apricots here. I just want to bring this color into here. You know what I'm doing? Sneaking my way towards coloring in these grapes and this wine in this bottle here. That yummy, yummy. Oh, I love that color. It's called a brilliant yellow. And then I want to bring almost like an orangey orange in here and just kind of go around and just bring some of this. Because these could be apricots, but I'm also thinking they might be oranges. I think some citrus grows where we grow our wine. So I'm going to add this kind of orange here. We'll let people decide what what fruit it is. Right? How fun. Even add a little bit of orange up in our fields up here. Just a little bit. Actually down in here. This is when it starts getting fun, because you kind of start adding layers of colors. You can create different feels. Something I do want to do before we get into here. I want to do something with these back here, and I kind of want to pull in grays. I really feel like these mountains, I don't want them to be, and I'm not even sure like what mountain range these might be, but they feel like, although they're very much in the distance, because they're kind of craggy and sharp, they feel a little bit like they're a lot higher than they appear to be. You know what I mean? It's like they're not just kind of rolling hills. Although Tuscany is known for rolling hills. But I do think that there's a part of this that has these beautiful kind of misty mountains, if you will, kind of in the background, right? Mountains always lend kind of mystery to me. I think of mountains as being mysterious. What's in those mountains? That's kind of giving them some color. And then I just realized we have a whole field here that was never colored. This is when you start noticing the different places that were missed, and also where we can color in, right? Add some more color, get a little bit more. Maybe this field needs to be a little more prominent. Right? Those are beautiful fields back in there. Let's start filling this in a little bit more. Actually, kind of cross. It's a very lush field over here. We can maybe let our grapes have a little bit more voice here. Give them a little bit more. Okay, grapeys. Beautiful vineyards. Sing us a song of your deliciousness. Oh. Oh, look at that. Look at that. And now that we've got that in, I kind of want to break out our Prussian green. Kind of give these leaves a little bit more oomph. Especially following the lines of maybe not filling them in completely, but following some of the lines of the leaves, right? So it's almost like we're doing a little bit of the highlighting. Because you got a lot of this. So yeah, look at that. We're getting there, guys. I'm going to turn this. Can you see it? It's bringing a little bit more brightness to it too, right? And it's interesting because you press harder with this one. It's not as kind of sagey as it was before, which is kind of cool. It's like it creates its own little color for itself, which is the fun of all this, right? It's like what's neat about coloring light and then getting to go back over. Mm. How you guys feeling about all this? Make sure whether you are doing this with me live or later, I always check back on the stuff that you guys are making comments and stuff. So make your comments. Make sure that you subscribe too, because that lets YouTube know that you like what's going on here, that you're interested in this. Because what I do is a little bit unique, and so it takes a bit getting. And I don't know how to use all this stuff. Like some people have such a knack of making you know, YouTube channels and stuff get a bazillion followers. I don't know how to do that. I depend on you guys to just like it if you do. I guess. I understand that's not the way you were supposed to do it if you want to have a successful channel, but I'm here just to play with you guys and hoping that it'll be successful, not for the sake of success, but for the sake of allowing more people to know it's here. Look at that, is so pretty. We have some beautiful clouds up here. It's going to bring a little bit of this blue up into the sky. It's a very faint. I know mine printed out kind of faint, which that's okay. But you'll notice I haven't changed the color blue. I haven't moved. I haven't changed. I'm keeping the same blue, and I'm doing that on purpose. And I'm coloring also what I'm doing with the clouds. I'm just doing it really light, right? And almost a little bit in circular. It's a little bit circular. Just keep it kind of fluffy. I don't really want to color the clouds in per se. I just want to give a hint of the coloring. But when we do that, we bring the blue and the blue and the blue and kind of create a balance here. But you know what we have to do here is we got to color this table, because with this table, there's also a window, right? And it's very rustic. And we were using, what was this color? Cinnamon. So we want to use a different color. And also in the cinnamon is the rooftops, and we've got our Van Dyke brown. That's all this here. So we want it to be different from these two. But we want it to be that rusticy. What is this color? Yellow ochre. Yeah, that's too light. I'm wondering. This experimenting a little bit here. I'm doing the Van Dyke brown, which is the color I used for the dirt in the vineyards. And I like it for the table. I like it for the wood of the table. But I don't want that much brown. So I'm putting it in here really light. I'm doing the edge of the table darker, right? So we have a line of this. We have this color very present, but it's more in the shadows here. So it doesn't feel so much like it's that same color. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring another color in over this. So we're going to have kind of the essence of this here. And actually, as I'm filling it in a little bit darker, it actually is looking pretty good. You know, and this is kind of, and I learn this all the time of how you can really change the colors within the colors that you have by coloring light or dark, you know, doing it very softly or very dark. And so I like that, like that. I like that, like that. Right? And I'm just going to continue it right up the edge here. Because this is such a good color for wood. You know, it really, really is. Such a good color for looking out the window of a Tuscan villa, overlooking the vineyards, right? Ooh, how are you guys doing? Are you guys ready to color in these? And this is going to want to be outlined here. This is crying to be outlined here. And then we got little wood grain lines, if you will. And we find it in here too. I'm going to do this in much darker. All right. Ooh, how is everybody doing? Make sure you're breathing. A lot of times it's really easy to quit, almost like hold your breath as you're getting something almost done. It gets kind of exciting. But part of what we're doing here is we're here to. So look how pretty that is. You know what I want to do? I want to bring some brown up into these mountains here. I'm just bringing, I'm kind of using the soft edge of my of my, this is that Van Dyke brown. And I'm just kind of bringing it across the whole thing, just kind of bring some brown. Because the stark gray wasn't sitting pretty with me. I think it needed to be softened and needed a little bit more attention. All right, guys. Dun, dun, dun. What color? I'm going to bring in a little bit of, I'm doing a little bit of the smaller grapes. Bring just a little bit of this fun little, and like so, and it's the ones that are in close to the stem that I'm going to kind of be coloring a little bit more. Just a few of these that I can see, just to put a little bit of this sweet little color in here. And I don't want to do like a really deep purple. I kind of want to keep it a lighter purple, purpley pink. And I apologize, I'm turning my little floor heater on. Turning my floor heater on, it's chilly. So these are all landscape colors over here. Now we're doing grape colors. Need to have a grapey grape color, right? So what's going to happen if I bring in this color? Ooh, that actually is a really good color for that. It's really bright. I love that, you guys. This is purple. It's purple. I think I'm going to start over here. I'm going to start doing these ones. And I'm actually going to do them individually. I mean, I guess I could kind of go through. I do this sometimes, right? But I'm not going to try to, I'm going to leave a little space for other colors to come in and join, because I think I'm going to add a little bit of that pink in there. I'm going to do that. And almost like thicken up the color, make the color get richer by going over it with this pink. Ooh, that's some delicious, like that. And so what I'm going to do, now that I know I have that, I'm actually going to put some more pink ones. Not worrying about them being out there at the edge. Okay, so see how I kind of did that? And then I'm going to come in with the purple. Right, bring that rich. This is the the purple. It's purple. I like to call this orchid though. This has got that yummy. I like it. And also on some of these grapes that we got here, like some go light on the coloring, but some of them lean heavy. Lean heavy. Let some of these grapes be really deeply grapey, right? So you're getting a really yummy variation. Whew, hands are getting tired. They brought in a beautiful harvest this time, huh? Oh, these are so pretty, you guys. Also, another thing to be aware of, and this is a little bit with the shading, is there's more light here, here in the picture. So these on top are going to be a little bit lighter than the ones underneath too, right? So you're going to have a little bit more richer color. All right, let's bring in our pink. Mm. And even when we're bringing our pink in, go a little bit lighter. A little lighter in the sunlight, right? Still bring the pink in. A lot of times when you're coloring these too, you'll start to notice, spaces that you left out and hadn't colored yet. So get on in there. Oh, so pretty. Look at that. Luscious deliciousness. There's something that I kind of want to do here. I want to bring a little bit of color and contrast kind of into this pretty little napkin that's sitting here. So I'm using the same orange that I used in the with the oranges, right? So I'm just kind of bringing this in. Not really giving it any kind of pattern per se. Just letting that orange just kind of be present there with it. So we're given this, instead of it being just a plain yellow, right? Wow. Mm, yummy, delicious. So now I'm coloring in the wine, and I'm going to show you how I'm going to do it. I'm going to do that really hard, press really hard down here, and I'm using up the whole glass. Okay, so I'm pressing really hard around the, oops, colored outside the lines, right? And then coloring softly in here. Okay, so you're getting the feeling of that beautiful, beautiful wine in there. And then in here, I am going to coloring in the bottle. And I know that might be like, well, the whole thing's black anyways. Why are you doing that? Mainly because it just gives that illusion a little bit. And I know that most bottles, especially with the reds and stuff, are green. Right? They'll have that green hue to it. But I really, because we're looking at kind of abstracts here, I really want this color to be present here and to say, hey, this is what we're doing. This is what we're doing here, right? So see how that brings that in there? And then, oh, I don't have any metallics in this one. I want to have like a gold label. So I'm actually going to this is going to be part of this whole thing. So here we are. Right? All right, so we're giving it some presence. I would love to have some goldy gold. And I'm actually going to bring this up here as if there's a gold up here. And if I can find a gold pencil, I know I have some somewhere. So now I am just totally making this stuff up right now. And so I'm just kind of making up a label. Oops. But here's another thing that I wanted to do is I wanted to take this purple, now that we decided what this was, and I wanted to take it and add some purple Not a lot, but add some purple color in here with some of the grapes. Now, think about how grapes grow. Usually the grapes are kind of underneath, so you don't really see them. But I think we need to have a little bit of this purple in our grape over here. Now, is that going to look weird? It might. I don't know. You guys might want to wait a minute and let me do this and see if it looks good. But I just feel like there needs to be this purple in here. You know? And I'm kind of doing just a little bit, almost as if some of that purple is kind of peeking through. And also, honestly, now that I'm thinking about this isn't bad actually, because sometimes grapes, their leaves have a little bit of purple on them too. So I'm just kind of following some of the lines in some of this stuff. And where I'm feeling like there's a space where we can maybe see the grapes through the vines, I'm adding a little bit of heavier, like. So I'm kind of making my own way here. Now we're going off into the rough. But it's kind of cool. It's adding a little bit of color. It's adding some dimension. Digging it. Mm-hmm. Tell me what you guys think. You think I'm way off track? Oh my goodness. We have been at this for an hour and 20 minutes. All right, guys. I'm going to start adding a little bit of this purple in our vines. Got to do it. And then I think we're going to be done. I don't want to keep you guys any longer. I hope you guys have enjoyed this. And I hope you guys remember that you do deserve the finer things in life. We all do. Even those of us that have made mistakes in our lives, that we've journeyed off the beaten path, and maybe we've just made some decisions that weren't for our best, for ourselves or maybe even others. But every new day is a new day. And all different teachings and traditions talk about forgiveness. And it's important to forgive ourselves, and to move on. Life is to be lived, and it's not to be lived beating ourselves up for the mistakes we've made. So, if I can give you one thing today for each of you, is that you do deserve the finer things in life, whatever that is for you, whatever that means for you. No matter, you know, where you're feeling maybe guilt, maybe even shame, or find frustration, or maybe you're not doing what you really thought you'd be doing, or not living your life the way you thought you would be living it. That's okay. It's good to be aware of that feeling, but also understand that every day is a new day. And life isn't meant to be lived beating yourself up. You're not going to get anywhere doing that, right? If you're not doing what or living what you wanted to, or what you dream for yourself, or if you're having a hard time right now, it's like, okay, I acknowledge this. It's not what I want, but in order to move, you got to say, all right, I'm moving on. I'm sorry, or I forgive you, right? It's my life. I'm going to live it joyfully. This is my life. I'm going to live it the way I want. I'm going to have the lifestyle. I'm going to have the wonderful things in life, right? I'm choosing that for myself, even though I've made mistakes, even though I've done dumb stuff, even though maybe I've hurt people. But you can stop that right now, right here. And sometimes making those changes in your lives will help to straighten everything up that has been awry. And so I challenge you to start reminding yourself every single day, I deserve the finer things in life. And I hope you guys enjoyed this. This was super fun coloring with you. And we're almost to an hour and a half. Oh my goodness. How fun. I wish blessings on each and every one of you. I just know that every one of you that are here, that are a part of our sacred space coloring corner, have a special place in the world. Every single one of you are special. You're sacred. You're holy. We're allowed to have the human experience, but at our core, we are divinely beautiful beings, and we are creators. That's why coloring and doing this kind of stuff helps us to tap into that beautiful aspect of ourselves that sometimes we kind of lose touch with. It's part of the whole thing. So I love you. This has been great. I totally enjoyed doing this journey to Tuscany to learn that we do deserve the finer things in life. And we will see you next week. Please make comments in on the YouTube, or you can send me comments also on Patreon if you're watching on Patreon. And let me know what kind of things you like to do. I've done a real smattering of 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 coloring pages. I've done dragons and fairies and angels and mandalas and things. I think maybe I'm going to do a pirate next time. Um, I've done the oracle card pages. We have so many different things. Go check out what I got going on. Let me know what you want to color. Do you want landscapes? Do you want puppies? Do you want a sip of my delicious tea? And I just hope that you keep on coloring, keep at it, just enjoy it. Not everything has to be a masterpiece. Sometimes it's just giving yourself permission and just kind of allow the energies to flow off of you. Thank you for going to Tuscany with me. It was super fun, and we will see you next week. And in the meantime, keep coloring, okay? Bye bye.